You're lucky.
Yep. There you go.
Okay, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda today?
So move.
Second.
Is there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the September 14th meeting?
So move. Second.
Any corrections or edits to the meeting? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Next thing on the agenda is public participation. Would anybody like to be heard?
It's unmuted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody online or no?
Nope.
Okay, go ahead. Sure, yeah, what are you gonna do?
Junior and I, we've been talking and Jake.
You need to give your name.
Basile, Tom Basile, 157 Burns Point Road. We're really concerned with how long we're gonna have to wait before something happens with Owasco Lake. Okay, I mean, we've been, covering the shoreline, sending reports in, listen to every inspector, this, that, the other thing, that's where nothing's happening. I mean, I sent pictures into the state of New York, showing them the algae blooms that I see, other people are sending them in. I know you town can't do it by themselves, but somehow, somewhere, something's gotta happen here. Because, nobody ever went down to Dogger Lake to recreate on it, you know what I mean? But they do come here. And it's a big part of our revenue, and I mean, we can't lose this, and plus, it's our drinking water too. So, I just take it so seriously, and it just beats me over the head thinking that there's nothing we can do about this, because it's all stuck in this political, whatever it is. And, I think we've got to get together, the city and come up with some plan, because, the total load that maybe, I don't know. It's just very frustrating. We talk about it ourselves, even to the point where, maybe we just give up on it and say it's shut with it. But that's not me. So that's all I got to say.
Tom, you're not the only one. I get it down there on Brookside Drive, Brooks Hollow Drive. I get the same thing. Every time we have a storm, we collect what you don't get. It's a mess down there. We get all kinds of sand and filtered dirt and everything else. And we're constantly cleaning our beaches out, all that junk coming out there.
Brook Hollow's the worst. Brook Hollow's probably the second leading.
Well, it comes down there. I'm telling you, we get trees, we get everything.
Yeah, because inlet actually is pretty well.
Well, you can
taken
see
care of.
now when the water recedes, you can see how much has come down where. Oh, just more stone and sand just filters on down there and it comes around, goes on ours and Duckett's land.
Well, and then the lake level, how high they got it, I know a lot of people want it high, but there's a median there someplace where. All the shorelines are filled in, everything is filled in.
Yes,
And where it used to be, and when you live in a place for 50 some odd years. And you saw it the way it was, there were trees going out there. I live where the tree is on the lake. And you see that out there, and now, it's all gone. The channel's all gone, everything's gone, And we tried to talk to the city, John West and those guys, and great guy, but he's told what to keep the level at, but the level is 6 inches too high. I think it is. I think it should be down around 7, 12, what is it, 12?
I think it is.
yeah, somewhere in that area.
Yeah, I think it's gotta come down a little bit, because, and another thing too, is when it's up that high, if we did a big rainstorm like we had a couple of years ago. Look how it flooded everybody out. And they don't listen, they don't, it's like they're stuck there. So, we got a lot of problems, and we're not taking care of them. You heard of it.
Road, 363 Watershed. You know, I know that there is the sub-filing with Tom, and everyone is frustrated, and I only make a recommendation that possibly we, add to your agenda every month, an update on the lake, so that we do get more participation from the citizens coming in and hearing what's going on, because I think, as you know, Ed, well, and you probably can update us, there are so many committees that are addressing the very concerns. Some have some, muscle to them, and others are, voluntary and have no real ability to do anything. And, I applaud the partnership that's going on now with the city and with the town on the total maximum load. But I think we need to have more input to the town, so that you really have an understanding, as Tom's talking and Ms. Vitale's talking, it's different where everybody lives. I mean, we get where it comes down Brook Hollow and comes around the point, but there's a lot of people on the lake that don't have a shoreline at all. So it's hard to find that balance on regulating, because it's all over. But I just would respectfully ask that we think about adding an agenda to have on the monthly meeting to get an update at least.
And just to add to that, I mean, our water level, I mean, an inch of rain raises the lake how high? Doesn't do it on Seneca Lake, doesn't do it on Skinny Lake, but it does it on Owasco Lake. And that's the whole thing. I mean, we fill that thing up like that. And, that's why I think it should be a little lower too.
Okay, I got about 10 things to address here. First thing is we agreed to go with the TMDL. Only way I remember the order is too many damn lawyers. All right, so that's the TMDL.
Yeah.
So, but we agreed. I spent an hour and a half on Zoom this morning, discussing next strategy with the governor's office. We put a letter into the governor in June, and they just replied to the letter in June last week. And so we were demanding to meet with the governor ASAP. I was just on the phone talking with Chuck Mason to have the mayor and I sign a letter to come here to address the issues that we have. The main issue that we want to talk about is the rules and regulation. The health department is in charge implementing new rules and regulations. As you know, the rules that we have in place right now are from 1984, which are not efficient and outdated, and we want to update them. Well, the health department has now said that they don't have the jurisdiction to protect the health of the water, that because it interferes with the ag and market rule and the DEC. And they're saying, but they won't give us anything in writing telling us what law prohibits them from implementing protecting water quality. So we have interagencies within the state fighting each other. We have the governor not willing to get involved. So we're trying to bring this public. We're working with Earth Justice, who took us on as a client that the board approved, and they're working with River Keepers and other groups to help with advocacy. But we are, I'm probably going to send a letter out with Mike Quill today or tomorrow. So we're trying to do everything we can to get the governor here, to make her aware of it, we had 2 press conferences with 2 senators here and very little input from the papers or the press or TV, because water quality is not on top of their list as a high profile type thing. Some of the people saying that our numbers aren't that bad. Well, I just got a report just half hour ago from Community Science Institute. Our raw water has to be less than 0.3. Our raw water at our intake for drinking water was 1.04, far above the 0.3 that we're supposed to be at. Fortunately enough, the state likes to throw money at, not at prevention, but at remediation. And so they gave us, $2 or $3 million for our carbon system, for our granular carbon system. They gave the city of Auburn a couple million for their powder system. And so our drinking water, finished water is less than 0.3, which they won't give you a measurement less than 0.3 because the accuracy level at less than 0.3 isn't accurate. So they can go up to 0.3 and tell you whether, if it's at 0.3 or above, they can tell you almost exact numbers, but less than that, it's not that accurate. So our drinking water is less than 0.3. And you have to remember too, that 0.3 is a 10-day average for children and elderly, not the average person. So it's a 10-day average. So what we did last week, right, I'm not doing CPR on you. So, all right, and we have a DNR, I think. All right, last weekend was really bad. The microcystin was really bad, so I had our guys take a sample on the shoreline. And remember, the average is 0.3. We did a sample on the shoreline. It was at 21.5. It was and it's in the city of Auburn last year, it actually had a drinking water raw level at their pipe above 20. Fortunately, this year it hasn't been as bad as it has been in past as it was last year. So we've had actually a pretty mild year this year compared to previous years. So the scientists at Cornell and other people are saying our numbers aren't that bad, and to justify them coming in and doing all these different things. But, I feel your frustration. We're trying to work on rules and regs. We're trying to work on implementing the 9E plan. So I literally go to 5 or 6 meetings a week just on water quality. We have a weekly meeting on 9E, 9-element plan, which is a better plan than the TMDL because of point source, non-point source situations. So we are working on that. We work with the state and the Army Corps of Engineers who regulate the rule curve that measures the lake level. And the lake level actually will start going down on the 15th, which is Monday. That's when they're supposed to have to go back down. Unless we get more rain this weekend, they'll start sooner to lower the lake level so it doesn't go back up. So the guys at the city are totally aware of what's going on, but they have to follow this rule curve, which was implemented by the Army Corps of Engineers. So they're doing what they can there. So, could I be more forthcoming and get more updates at the board meeting? Quite honestly, I'm so fried from going to these meetings it's like going home and talking to your spouse. You really want to rehash the day's activity, after you already went through it once. I don't, but I will. So I'll make an effort to do that.
I do it all the time.
I think the public is what is missing. I think, unfortunately, everybody has let everybody powers to be, the movers and the shakers.
I
Deal with it.
don't think they know the
I
numbers,
don't-
the
and I-
numbers that we have here too. I mean, let her know, we got 40,000 people signed signatures.
They know,
Saying that,
they know.
well,
No, but a petition, a
Well,
petition.
and
Has to help.
And that's why we're soliciting the help of professionals to help us with that realm of soliciting and what to do next and how to get the outreach. And the other thing that we're working with is other lake agencies right now. And there's a movement going on right now, and Keith Batman, who was a former county legislator, is working with. He's our liaison with Cuga Lake and other agencies. Adam Effler is working with them as well, trying to get this coalition together to go after the governor as a Finger Lake region as a whole, because this is not just a Owasco Lake. It's a total state, upstate New York. It's we try to compare ourselves, which is not a fair comparison with the New York City watershed and the Skaneateles watershed. You know, they don't have treatment. All the other lakes and drinking sources in the state have treatment. They don't. They have special rules. And the state and the city of Syracuse came through with whole farm plans and best management plans, and they put a lot of money into that to protect the drinking water. And as you said, you know, our lake fills up quickly. That's because we have the largest square footage of watershed to surface water than any other lake in the state. You know, we have 204 square miles of watershed for 11-mile lake. Skaneateles has like, I don't know, I'm just roughly, 30 miles of watershed compared to their size of lake, which is much larger than ours. Our lake turns over after 3.5 years. Their lake would probably take 7 or more years to turn over based on their watershed. So that's why we see the impact
Yeah,
quickly.
well, what you're sharing today, Ed, is very informative, whether it's just for us in our associations to go back and share, because people are exhausted from not knowing what to do next.
Yeah, I can honestly tell you that this is not going away. And I can tell you that that it is #1 priority for the city of Auburn,
It should be.
and it's been #1 priority for the town of Owasco.
And
yeah.
that, again, I think that there's too many people that don't know when they turn their water on, where it's coming from.
Yeah,
And what it involves in order to have
Make
it
it better,
clean. And again, do we want chemicals in it to make it
no,
regulatory?
The lake was pretty pristine for a long time though this summer. I
Yeah.
mean, it
It
was
was.
beautiful.
yeah,
Then all of a sudden, it's like
That's-
somebody turned a switch
Yeah,
on.
well, that's the
Yeah,
time there.
The last month.
Yeah, so-
the natural
Well, thank
progression of
you.
stuff
I
dying.
appreciate it, and I
Yeah,
just would
really.
ask that we be able to continue to get the update.
Maybe we'll
Because-
come to all the meetings.
We might.
Oh.
How about if I send you a write-up? I'd rather have it, Josh.
Can you, outside of the TMDLs, can you summarize what regulations you guys are wanting to ask the state for, or what you have asked the state for that haven't come through?
Well, we asked for rules and regulations, which puts mandatory rules in place versus the voluntary. Both the TMDL and the 9E plan are just volunteer rules. But the rules and regs are mandated through the health department. The health department we have the watershed inspectors inspect. They can write up tickets to the health department for enforcement. So we want teeth.
Can you summarize those rules? Like what is it that you're?
We're trying to like, requiring buffers for farms, to put a certain amount of feet from buffers for stream banks. To limit the number of, it's just, I can give, I don't have all this up in front of me, so I can't, right now, I'm just.
There
Fried.
was a joint meeting between the city of Auburn and the town of Owasco at City Hall a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And they jointly adopted.
What the state wants to do is
It was nearly unanimous.
completely gut, they want to completely gut anything that the ag and markets regulates and anything that DEC regulates. So what the state's proposing and their proposed rules and regs makes our rules and regs weaker than it was in 1984 to now. So they're actually so we say to them, can we withdraw our request to put these rules and regs in? And they say, no, you started the process. Now we're gonna make whatever you have in place weaker. So that's what the state really wants to do. But they won't give us, and again, I'll say again, the health department says they can't regulate, but I think it's their way of saying we don't want to get involved. And they can't regulate health of the water that affect the health of people drinking water, but isn't that their job? So we're gonna hold them to task, and we're gonna take them to court. We're gonna take this governor to court. We're gonna get public outreach. That is coming, I guarantee it. You'll hear more shortly. So-
I think that's exactly what the people need to do. They
Yep.
know the different bodies that are working on it, and that you have been diligently doing that. Instead of people just thinking, well, nobody's doing anything, you are.
We're doing tons
Yeah.
and but right now, for example, we just got grants for $500,000 to do stream bank stabilization on the inlet, but hasn't been released yet because this federal government hasn't released their grant, but we got the approval
Mhm.
that it's gonna happen.
Grant.
So,
Yeah.
so with soil and water conservation, they'll be implementing best practices on the inlet for key stream bank areas that are being eroded
Much
into.
needed.
Huh?
Much needed.
Yeah, well, they should just eliminate the whole thing and make it a wetland again. So but that's here and there, So-
Thank you for your time.
yeah, we'll see.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ed. One of my great joys in life is having those conversations with my wife.
You're still on your honeymoon.
She's watching.
Yeah. Just
Okay,
wanna make
She don't.
yeah,
you're smart,
make sure.
okay. I can. All right, anybody else want to speak? Mr. Sharinga.
So I just want to comment, listen to these folks up here, they can tar and feather me, I'm the one that's,
We won't hurry.
I'm the one that's farms Burris Point, the cover crops.
Mhm.
So we noticed that.
And I know, I probably, just quick on farming. I've been farming all my life, it's forever. The moldboard plows been parked in the hedgerows, we don't till, we put a cover crop, I'm on a grain farm, I have nothing to do with animals, just one cat. 80% of my ground is covered when there's not a crop growing.
It's gorgeous.
And I mean, we leave buffers, we do everything, and I disagree with some of these blanket plans they wanna put out. But the stream bank road, Sucker Brook runs through some of my farm, and so don't touch Hollow.
Mhm.
You go down in there, and we've got 25 feet, we're away, it's grass, and keep it maintained. But the stream bank is gone by 10 feet, I mean, there's trees
Yeah, there's.
twice as big around as me falling in.
Right.
And I mean, we've been complaining and nothing's ever done.
No,
I mean,
that's-
these
I
hard
mean,
rains
these are
we
the
get is
discussions
gonna
that
go-
Need to come out, we've got a partnership,
Right.
I didn't mean to. I'm
Right,
sorry
but
to
you know,
interrupt. Yeah.
These heavy rains that we get, nobody can control it. When you
Mhm.
get a deluge of rain, the creek's coming up.
Mhm.
But I mean, that water's coming down them creeks so fast. If you wanna get in there to straighten something out, by the time you get to Army Corps of Engineers, I mean, 2 more years goes by before you get anything done. I mean, you walk up through there and, oh, Mike sees, I mean, there's trees come down through there.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and there's a lot of
yeah,
areas on
yeah.
that creek that could be flooded. Just stand up and let it naturally sift out, like the inlet they wanna do. I mean, there's so much projects that can be done. That would help it, and it wouldn't cost remortgage the whole state to fix some of
Right.
this. But what they wanna implement on blanket everybody, that's. I can't agree with some of that, but,
Yeah.
but I just want you to make, I'm cover
No,
crop
it's-
and
It's good.
I'm the
It's-
guy
It's good input.
right there.
We,
You're-
we
you're
are
the
trying.
perfect
But they
input.
talk siltation ponds back in the 60s. If we'd done one a year. How many ponds, siltation ponds will we have done today?
you're right.
Huh?
We had
We
a,
never do it, and every time you turn around, we don't have the money. Baloney, you don't have the money. You got highway equipment out there. These guys got equipment. They could do this stuff. You can never say never. I mean, that's
I
the
think, I don't think
frustrating
we can
part.
afford
huh?
to say it, we've got to do something.
Yeah,
we had a stump come down the Dutch Hollow. I wanted to take it out and I was told, don't you dare touch that. If you touch it, you get arrested. So I waited a year and then I put a chain on it. And took it out.
It just takes so long. to get
It's gone
it
now.
right there.
But I mean, that's what's going on around all these.
And I think that
Correct.
it's perfect for what you're sharing with the grant money coming in. These are the tributaries that are loading the lake primarily, and those should be the ones that are on the top of the list.
I'll tell you one more story before we move on, is that, Burtis Point, the Owasco, the Dutch Hollow outlet, a lot of shales building up at the end of the
Mhm.
trip going into the lake, like a delta right there.
Mhm.
And 2 years ago, or maybe 3 years ago, I can't remember, we had a winter freeze and it flooded. And
Oh, yeah.
the whole thing flooded and someone
Yeah, I
almost
see.
Those are what-
almost
They got
lost
it.
their
I didn't
house.
get it.
And we had to get a long
South end
stick
guy.
out there.
I watched
to
that break.
Open it up, and I have a video to show you, the people. Trying to get that thing dredged is nearly impossible. I call the DEC, they say it's not theirs. I call the DOT, it's not theirs. I call Soil and Water, they apply for grants, but they don't get the grants to do it. So nobody wants, and they said, well, someone's got to apply for this municipal, well, who owns it? The state owns it. So, it's just, I've been working on that for 3 years and get nowhere. When I finally had a partnership with a regional director at DEC who was willing to help and do good things because he stuck up for the rules and regs and other thing, guess what happened to him?
Get shipped out.
He got fired.
A lot of
or
those
asked to
gaming,
go.
some of
So,
those gaming boxes are starting to rust out and they're falling apart.
I mean,
Well, I just, there's people that are willing to help jump in.
yeah, we understand that and things are being done,
Yeah.
just
We'll
not
keep
being,
going
it's
and-
not
and
being
just know that
reported
we're
on
there
properly,
Supportive,
but,
and you've got partnerships with.
okay. Anybody else would like to be heard? Yes,
Just want to introduce myself. My name is Josh Chiz, and I'm running for county ledge in our district, Owasco and Senate. I know many of you, but want to let you know that I'm wanting to serve, wanting to help. I'm wanting to help with things like this. I feel like these types of conversations are critical. I think we need to get farmers back into the conversation about what can be done, but it's beyond that, right? There's a lot more that we can do, and so this is one of the critical things that I have as a motivation to run. I feel like our communities are critical that they're family friendly, right? And so for me, public safety is a big issue, certainly clean water, but our lifeblood in our county is our farmers, and so we need to make sure that we have them at the table and we're talking about solutions that we can all work on to better our lake. So certainly one of the main topics that I'm dealing with, but appreciate your time.
thank
So
you.
you're for clean water.
I am certainly for clean water. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Right, you're taking my.
Just want
you're
just
taking
want to
my
write
thunder
that
there.
down.
All right.
Really know that, yeah.
Anybody else to be heard? Al?
My name is Holly Gregg. I'm the chairman of the board of a new nonprofit called Westlake Art Conservation Center. And the Westlake Art Conservation Center just purchased the Lakeview Golf and Country Club. And we have plans to convert the clubhouse building, which is 13,500 square feet, into a regional art conservation and preservation center. And I wanted to let you guys know that we are trying to move this ball forward. I've brought some information. I'm assuming you don't know about this, so I brought some handout material for you to sort of brief you on what it is we're trying to accomplish here. It's very exciting. What happened is we purchased a company that's based in Montville. It's been around 45 years. And they've been serving the museum, the art museum. Does everybody have one? Do you have one? Art museum community, universities, art galleries and private collectors for 45 years, restoring old artwork. This is old paintings, old documents, objects, textiles, and that sort of thing. It's a really cool business. The founders of the business wanted to retire, and we met with them and came up with a plan to transition this for-profit company that's got a great brand called Westlake Conservators into a nonprofit, which is this operation, Westlake Art Conservation Center. And last week, actually September 29th, we completed the acquisition of Westlake Conservators. So now our nonprofit is running that. Earlier in the summer, we purchased the Lakeview Golf and Country Club with the intention of converting the clubhouse into labs and restoration services for statewide museums statewide. So in this packet, you have sort of an overview, 2-page overview that we submitted to the Regional Economic Development Council of New York to apply for a grant. We received an award of $380,000 to put towards our building. So they really like what we're doing. We've also met with Cuba County Planning and Economic Development representatives, CETA, the Cuba County Tourism, and we're also supported by museums like the Johnson Museum, the Everson Museum, Seward Museum. These are the kinds of clients that Westlake Conservators has. It's a really fascinating really fascinating operation. And once we get up and going, I'd love to invite you all to take a look at it. We wanted just to give you a brief introduction to what it is we're trying to do. With me is another board member on the board, and I wanted to introduce Ted Kinder, who's sort of coordinating the building renovation and the sort of the site planning and all that kind of stuff. Ted, you want to just to say a few words about that?
Yeah, we actually have a plan that, we got a site plan with us too, that.
Yes.
Yeah. You can see what we've done is we've separated out an 8.21 acre parcel that consists of the parking area and the clubhouse. And the access road. Are you all familiar with the clubhouse?
Yeah.
Everybody been up there? Yeah, I'm sure you have. So it's basically just the clubhouse and the immediate area surrounding it is the 8.2 acres. Plenty of parking for what we need. At this point, we're not anticipating any site work in the foreseeable future. It works for what we need. The building itself is about 13,000 square feet, which is over twice what we're in right now. So for the immediate future, we do not anticipate going outside of that footprint. It's got plenty of room for our laboratories. We have 2 major laboratories there that restore paintings and artifacts. There's office space, bathrooms, obviously. There's public meeting space. We would anticipate that we would have an educational function with this. So several times a year, we may invite up to 10, 15, 20 people in that would participate in educational programs in the facility. But a typical day might only have 12 people there, though. We're hoping to ramp up to 12. Right now,
We're at 6 right now.
we're 6 right now, so we're really hoping that we can get 12 people working in there. We're hoping within the footprint to do a state-of-the-art storage facility that's climate controlled to the extent that we can attract business from major museums throughout New York State that are looking for a place to put their artwork where it's stored in a safe, environmentally correct way. The improvements to the building will be fairly extensive. We can work generally the footprint, but we're looking at an entirely new HVAC system to bring it up to our standards. Any questions on the facility or what we're?
A little bit more background. They went to the planning board last week to give them an introductory messages they're doing right here to us. They are filling out their plan development district application right now. Working with Pat Doyle, our code enforcement officer, and Tom Blair is working with their attorney to finalize their final draft, which will be, because it is a PDD, will be and also the planning board referred it back to us. We will be the ones that will be making all of the final decisions on the PDD going forward. That's why they're coming in here for us. So I would expect their plan to be to us within a week or so. And we will, I will send that out to you as soon as I get it for your review. And then we will have a meeting as soon as possible to discuss it and then take action as soon as you're ready to take action on.
And I did bring with me, we just literally done today, subdivision application. Obviously, we need to subdivide, and we've got the short form environmental assessment form that we'll submit at the same time.
So as of right now, that application that was submitted, that's not considered complete.
Oh, no.
So, okay, because the planning board said it's complete, so.
Well, for their purposes, but for our purposes, no, to refer it to us. It was.
Yeah, that was a very preliminary meeting we had with the planning board. As per your PDD requirements, we just went in and explained to them what we wanted to do. We'd given them a draft application, and they talked about what they wanted to see changed, and so that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, they're making the changes and then they'll get the completed application, and then our attorney, special counsel will tell us that he feels it's substantially completed. Once it's substantially completed, we can, it have to be 100% completed, but it has to be substantially completed to go forward.
Is the pool and the tennis courts going or are they staying?
They're not actually on our property.
Oh, it
So-
shows, oh, I see, okay.
Yeah.
They are right now. but-
Right now they are.
Yes. Right now, yes, if we subdivide and we're able to sell the remaining acreage, it would not be, but yeah, they are right now.
And they're gonna be.
I think the
working
pool, the
with-
pool's a little bit beyond rehabilitation.
Yeah, it should have been taken out years ago.
Yeah.
Ponce de Leon says it's part of his. Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions about what happens in conservation services? Do you understand?
I'm just shocked that it all happened in Mottville.
I know.
That's insane.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a beautiful old building, but has had almost no maintenance work done to it in the last 40 years and.
It's in the old Skinner's Toy Factory if you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a cool spot and they're doing amazing work there. You gotta see it to believe it. It's really interesting. So, and that's what we want to do is we want to upgrade all the equipment and the labs and really make it a statewide regional conservation center, which will offer educational services to young students who want to learn more about conservation. We want to, collaborate with Cornell University and SU, Colgate. They all have students that would like to, get hands-on experience in conservation services. It's a very rare and small niche, but it's a really interesting and very necessary business to have. And we really look at this as a destination that will attract people who are interested in art conservation from all over the state and hopefully the Northeast. So it's a big deal. It's a big project for us. We're very excited about it.
Where would this put you in relation to like the next closest place that does the same kind of work?
The next closest place that does the same kind of work is in Williamstown, Massachusetts.
Hmm.
And there's an art center that actually we're using as a template to model ourselves after. It's called the Williamstown Art Conservation Center. And they've been around for a long time, not as long as this company has,
Mhm.
interestingly enough. They're associated with the Clark Institute there, the Clark Museum, and also Williams College. And they've got a really nice operation there. But they're the next closest. And the thing is, the reason why we got into it was because if Westlake Conservators went down, all of the museum community would not have a place to go. They would all have to go either to Williamstown or down. There's another one down in Philadelphia.
Mhm.
That's it. And so this is going to be servicing the whole central New York area and all the way to Buffalo and over to Albany and down to New York. We just brought in a Salvador Dali painting from New York City. But we just were at the Fenimore Museum over in Cooperstown, looking at some really spectacular paintings that they need to have work done on. So it's really a very fascinating world. And I'm a volunteer, so is Ted. On the board, I did some market research 2 years ago, and I called a lot of the museum community around here and said, what do you think of Westlake Conservators? And they said, we love it, we're depending on them. And that's what sort of inspired us to keep on going and doing this transition to save it. So not only are we saving it, but we're going to grow it and turn it into something really cool. So we hope you guys will be interested in supporting it. And if you want any more information on it, we're happy to supply it for you.
So we'll work on getting a complete application in very soon.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. You were next on the agenda. So.
I what?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought to be on.
No, you're all set. You're all set. We had a special line for you. We had a special line
I'm
for you.
sorry, man.
No, it's all right. No, we're good.
Okay, put it ahead.
Yeah. Would anybody else want to speak, public to be heard before we close it up? Yes, sir.
How much land is this conservatory gonna take up there?
How much land?
Land.
It's 8.2 acres.
Okay. Then, so now what's gonna happen to the rest of that land?
Well, we have some thoughts. One of the
What's your thought?
thoughts is to have the town of Owasco purchase that land.
What would they do with it?
They would turn it into a public park. with
Oh.
Trails.
We don't have one out here?
Yes, okay, yeah.
What I'm saying is this, if that land up there goes from you over to a nonprofit, and then the other part of it, 200 some acres probably, ends up being a park for the town of Owasco, it comes off the tax rolls.
Right, yes, we understand that.
Hopefully.
Well, we've got
And then what would we get, a grant to take care of our taxes we lose?
That's possible. We have some other ideas too that we're talking about developing some other, we're gonna keep some other acreage too that we are considering. Talking to some local developers to turn it into a senior living facility. Which that will then spend tax money for the town, so that'll be off Bevier Road.
That'd be what?
On Bevier Road, you know,
I don't
Bevier Road,
remember.
that's on the southern border. So, and that would have its own entrance into an area of 10 acres that we hope to develop.
Now, who's purchasing this land?
So
So right now,
let's hang on a second. You're here to address the board. Not,
Yeah.
so we'll take care of it.
yeah, and this is not a debate. The thing that right now is they are a not-for-profit. They purchased the whole thing. Right now, it's off the tax rolls. So whether they sell it to another not-for-profit or a town, it's off the tax rolls right now unless they sell it to someone who, if they choose to sell it to someone who wants to use it for personal use, then it will only go back on the tax rolls at that point. So,
Now, this is off the tax roll.
Yep.
So why would the town have anything to do with it?
we don't have anything to do with it right now.
Anything to do with it.
Okay, so who, then just the conservatory owns it?
Yep,
The whole piece?
Yes.
Okay, all right,
yep, they own the whole piece.
but their non-for-profit is 8 acres.
No,
No,
they own the whole, they want to
Whole
subdivide, they want to subdivide 8 acres out of that whole piece and sell the rest of it out. It's up to them, you know, what they do with it. And it has to go through the proper channels to get the subdivision approved.
Now, one thing I have to question them about is how can you be a nonprofit if you charge to do stuff in your conservatory?
Well, it's not part of this conversation, so.
Oh, it isn't?
No, it's not.
Why is it? It's a nonprofit. You're
It's,
putting
well,
up a
because you're in public to be heard and you're addressing the board, and I don't know the answer to that. If you want to talk to someone outside the building, and he can give you the answer, but it's not to be done at this point.
We can.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, any other questions? Thank you. Okay. We're just gonna, we don't have much on the agenda. Next thing on the agenda is a resolution to do a amended approval to the municipal cooperation for the Greater Tompkins Community Municipal Health Insurance Consortium. This is where we get our health insurance from. We have to get a new approval every year. So this is to amend the previous approval for 2023. What had happened in 2023, we previously approved there were 2 towns that wanted to get into the municipal agreement. And we accepted them into the agreement. It was a town of Niles who had 1 employee, and it was a library someplace in Tompkins County. They wanted to get in, but since then the employee left and Niles chose to go with Teamsters. So the state spends more time regulating health insurance and not doing that. So we have to go back and redo everybody, all 35 people who participate in this consortium has to go back and redo this amendment to the agreement that we already did. So that's what basically this is.
Move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, next,
Aye.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Next thing on the agenda is to authorize a supervisor to withdraw for up to $500,000 to invest in a CD with Lions National Bank from Tompkins. The reason why we would do this is to get a higher interest rate by like 1.5% more than what we're getting right now. So to maximize our return on investments, we want to go with a different bank. This is the money that spent sitting dormant for many years. It'd be a 14-month CD, and we would get a great return on investment if we went with that. So can I get a motion for discussion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this part of the process where, I know like 1.5 years ago, talked about potentially switching banks? I
It's,
know we've had to sign up so that we could deposit. You
Well,
can
we-
put funds in there.
yeah, this is part of that process that we never did anything with.
That's why I was getting
Yeah,
at, so.
and so finally, because every time we went back to the bank that we had, they up their,
They're trying to fight for business.
percentage, fighting for their money,
Yeah.
so, but I'm getting tired of asking, so I got people coming to me saying, this is what we'll give you. And I said, you know, if our current investor doesn't want to come forth and offer and review on a regular basis, we, you know, other people are, you know, so it's just us getting it, so.
Good, all right.
So we'll see how it goes, and it's money that we're not gonna touch, we haven't touched, and so, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Audit and payment of claims, can I get a motion?
Move.
Second.
Yeah, any discussion?
There was a couple in there at the end that said hold for payment or hold for,
Well, that's.
what was, I just didn't understand what we were.
Probably never received the item, but she wants approval to pay it when it comes in, maybe.
There was a
Can I
couple,
comment on that?
yeah,
Okay, so what that is, in a nutshell, is that the two Barton and Lewis invoices are projects that are being approved, or one approved, one is still in the middle of the planning board. And they have to put down money as an escrow.
Yeah.
And it hasn't come forth yet. So once that does come from the applicants, then they'll be conditional. Unless
Okay.
otherwise decided on.
It's gonna happen.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
I got that. That one's out of.
Get yelled at.
So we got grand total of 262,000 to be paid. All those in favor?
Aye.
Here, like to go into executive session to give you a couple updates on a couple of topics that for contract and labor.
Move.
Second.
Okay,
No decision being made.
no decision being made.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.